I never thought I'd say this, but in just 30 days, I completely changed the way my body reacts to sugar, naturally. No drugs, no crazy diets, no endless doctor visits. Just a few powerful habits that I discovered almost by accident. And that ended up transforming not only my blood sugar, but my energy, my sleep, and even my mood. If you've ever felt that frustrating sugar crash after lunch, or that constant fatigue no matter how much you sleep, I know exactly how that feels. Because that was me for years. But what if I told you that your blood sugar is not just about diabetes or weight? It's actually the key to unlocking how good you feel every single day. Today, I'm going to share exactly what I did, step by step, to balance my blood sugar naturally in just 30 days. You'll discover the one mistake that keeps most people stuck, the surprising daily ritual that changed everything for me, and the small tweaks that make the biggest difference. So stay with me until the end, because what you'll learn today might just change the way you look at your body. Forever. The wake-up call. The day I realized something was wrong, it started like any other Monday. Except this time, something felt off. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed trying to find the energy just to stand up. My head was heavy, my heart was racing, and there was this strange fog behind my eyes. I'd slept for almost 8 hours, but it felt like I hadn't slept at all. I shuffled to the kitchen, dragging my feet, and poured myself a cup of coffee. The smell should have woken me up, but it didn't. I added sugar, took a sip, and felt that temporary spark. That quick hit of energy that I'd learned to depend on every morning. But deep down, I knew that energy never lasted. For months, my days had followed the same exhausting pattern. A quick burst of focus in the morning, followed by an afternoon crash that felt like someone had unplugged me from the wall. My eyes would blur, my mind would wander, and no matter how much caffeine I drank, I couldn't shake that crushing fatigue. I told myself it was stress. Work deadlines, maybe I wasn't drinking enough water, but the truth was starting to whisper louder and louder. Something isn't right. That morning I looked in the mirror, really looked. The dark circles under my eyes, the dull skin, the heaviness in my body. I looked older than I felt inside. There was this emptiness in my expression that scared me. Still, I grabbed my phone, scrolled through messages, tried to act normal. But as I reached for my toast, I noticed something. My hand was trembling. Barely noticeable, but enough to make the toast fall back onto the plate. My chest tightened. For a few seconds, I just stood there, frozen. Then I saw it, sitting in the corner of the counter, my glucose meter. A small, silent reminder from my doctor months ago that I'd been ignoring. I hesitated, then picked it up. I pricked my finger, waited a few seconds. When the number flashed on the screen, my stomach dropped. It was high, higher than I'd ever seen it. I didn't move. I just stared at that tiny screen, realizing that all those little normal things, the tiredness, the sugar cravings, the mood swings, weren't normal at all. I'd been running on autopilot, convincing myself that as long as I wasn't sick, I was fine. But the truth hit me hard. I wasn't fine. I was slowly losing control of something I didn't even understand. I sat back down with my coffee, staring at the steam rising, and this question looped in my head. How did I let it get this far? I replayed the last few years, the late-night snacks, the skipped breakfasts, the constant stress, the healthy granola bars loaded with hidden sugar. It wasn't one bad habit. It was all the small ones piled up over time, quietly rewriting how my body worked. And in that moment, I made a silent promise to myself. I wasn't going to keep pretending. I wasn't going to wait for a prescription or a diagnosis. I was going to figure this out, naturally. I wanted my body back. That morning became my wake-up call, not because I found an answer, but because I finally asked the right question. What if I could actually heal myself from the inside out? I didn't know it yet, but that single question would lead me down a path of discoveries that would completely change my life. The way I eat, the way I think, the way I feel, and it all started with one scary number on a screen, and a quiet decision to take back control. The hidden enemy. Understanding what was really causing my sugar spikes, after that morning wake-up call, I knew I couldn't ignore it anymore. But here's the thing. I didn't even know where to start. I thought I was eating pretty healthy. I didn't drink soda, I avoided desserts, and I thought I was doing okay. But the truth, I was completely clueless about what was happening inside my body, so I started digging. I began watching health videos, reading articles, and even scrolling through online forums where people shared their experiences with blood sugar. And what I discovered completely blew my mind. It turns out that the real problem wasn't just sugar itself. It was the hidden enemy I was feeding every single day without realizing it. White bread. Fruit juice, low-fat yogurt, breakfast cereal, all the things I thought were healthy choices were actually spiking my blood sugar just as badly as a can of soda. I remember one afternoon, I made what I thought was a clean lunch, grilled chicken, rice, and a big glass of orange juice. An hour later, I felt dizzy, tired, and strangely hungry again, even though I'd just eaten. I checked my glucose, and there it was. Another massive spike. That's when I realized something powerful. Balancing blood sugar isn't just about avoiding sugar. It's about understanding how your body responds to everything you eat, every carb, every meal combination, every time you skip breakfast or eat late at night, your body reacts. And for me, it was reacting in ways I didn't even notice for years. I started paying attention. I kept a small notebook where I tracked what I ate and how I felt afterward. Sometimes, even healthy meals left me exhausted. Other times, a small handful of nuts or a walk after eating made a huge difference. Felt like I was finally learning the secret language of my body, one I'd been ignoring my whole life. But the hardest part was realizing how many little habits were silently working against me. My morning orange juice? A sugar bomb in disguise. My energy bar before workouts? Mostly glucose syrup and marketing. Even my balanced dinners with rice and lean meat were causing roller coasters inside my bloodstream. The more I learned, the more I understood how disconnected I'd been from what my body was trying to tell me. Those energy crashes weren't just fatigue, they were my body's cry for balance. And that realization hit me hard. Because if my daily habits had created the problem, maybe, just maybe, I could rebuild new ones to reverse it. That night, I sat down with my notebook and wrote one line that would guide the next month of my life. If I can find what causes the spikes, I can find what brings the calm. That became my mission, and little did I know that mission would lead me to discover something even more surprising, that the timing of when I ate mattered almost as much as what I ate. The turning point. My 30-day experiment begins. That night, after hours of research and reflection, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wait for another wake-up call. I was going to take control, starting tomorrow. I decided to commit to a 30-day experiment. My goal? To balance my blood sugar naturally, using habits I could sustain for life. No gimmicks, no extreme diets, no magic pills, just real food, real routines, and a real connection to my body. The first step was simple in theory, but hard in practice. I had to pay attention. I prepared a logbook to track every meal, every snack, every moment of energy or fatigue. I tracked my mood, my sleep, my cravings, everything. Day one started like any other morning. But instead of my usual toast and juice, I had a breakfast designed to stabilize my blood sugar. Eggs, avocado, a small portion of oats, and green tea. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't flashy. But it was intentional. The first hours were the hardest. My body was used to quick energy, sugar, caffeine, and carb-loaded meals. Without them, I felt slow, heavy, hungry in a way that wasn't just physical. But I reminded myself, this is temporary. Your body is adjusting. By mid-morning, something amazing happened. Instead of the usual crash and fog, I felt a steady, calm energy. My mind was clearer, my focus sharper. I realized that maybe, just maybe, I was on the right track. For lunch, I experimented with combining protein, healthy fats, and fiber, the kind of meal that keeps blood sugar stable. Instead of rice or bread, I had quinoa with roasted vegetables and grilled salmon. After eating, I didn't feel the familiar drowsiness. My energy didn't spike and crash. It felt balanced, natural, normal. The first week was a mix of victories and lessons. I discovered hidden sugar in foods I thought were healthy: salad dressings, sauces, even store-bought yogurt. I learned that timing mattered. Eating too late or skipping meals led to spikes I could feel immediately. I realized that movement after meals, even just a short walk, made a bigger difference than I expected. By the end of that first week, I checked my blood sugar again. The numbers were lower, more stable, and the feeling of calm energy, was something I hadn't experienced in years. That was the moment I knew I wasn't just experimenting, I was changing my life, and this was only the beginning. Over the next 3 weeks, I would refine my meals, adjust my routines, and learn more about what my body truly needed, step by step, day by day. But the most important lesson of week 1 was simple. Balance doesn't come from restriction. It comes from understanding. It comes from paying attention, experimenting, and listening to what your body is really telling you. The breakthrough week, noticing real changes by. The second week of my 30-day experiment, things were starting to shift in ways I didn't expect. I woke up one morning and, for the first time in years, felt genuinely refreshed. No groggy head, no fog, no feeling like I needed an extra cup of coffee just to function. I rolled out of bed and noticed something strange. My body didn't feel heavy. My mind felt sharper. Even the creak in my knees from years of sedentary work seemed lighter. I started noticing small but undeniable changes throughout the day. My energy levels were more consistent. No more mid-morning or mid-afternoon crashes. My mood felt steadier. Irritations and anxieties that used to sneak up were less frequent. Cravings for sweets had decreased dramatically. Even the thought of candy no longer triggered an urgent, uncontrollable desire. These subtle changes were thrilling, but they were also humbling. I realized how long I'd been ignoring my body's signals, how much I had depended on temporary fixes instead of addressing the root cause. The breakthrough didn't just come from avoiding sugar. It came from understanding the patterns. I learned which foods and combinations triggered spikes, and which habits helped stabilize my glucose. For example, pairing protein with fiber and healthy fats became a game changer. Even a simple change, like having a handful of almonds before lunch, prevented the mid-afternoon crash I'd suffered from for years. I also discovered the importance of timing. Eating smaller, balanced meals every 3-4 hours kept my blood sugar stable. Skipping meals or eating late at night caused almost immediate fatigue. It was incredible to see how predictable my body's reactions were, once I started listening. By mid-week, I checked my glucose readings again. The numbers were consistently lower, more stable than they had been in years. Seeing the evidence in black and white was empowering. It wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was intentional action, and the more I learned, the more confident I became. I started experimenting with new recipes, adding leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats to every meal. I walked more after meals, prioritized sleep, and even practiced mindfulness for stress management. By the end of the second week, something amazing happened. My friends and family started noticing. Wow, you look energized. You seem lighter, happier. Even my posture had improved, a subtle but powerful sign of internal balance. That week, I realized the true power of small, consistent changes. The results weren't instant, flashy, or dramatic, but they were real, sustainable, and life-changing. I had found the proof. My body could heal itself naturally. And the best part? This was only halfway through my 30-day experiment. The journey was far from over. But the momentum had begun, and there was no turning back. The real results: energy, focus, and mood transformed. By the 3rd and 4th weeks of my 30-day experiment, the changes were undeniable. It wasn't just about lower blood sugar readings, though they were finally stable in a range I hadn't seen in years. It was about how I felt, completely different in my own body. I woke up naturally, without an alarm, feeling alert and ready to start the day. I no longer needed multiple cups of coffee to function. My focus at work improved dramatically. Tasks that used to feel overwhelming became manageable, even easy. The energy throughout the day was steady, not rushed or jittery, but calm and consistent. I could go for a walk, do household chores, or focus on projects for hours without feeling that midday crash I'd been used to for decades. And then there was the mood shift. I felt calmer, more present, less reactive. Small irritations that used to throw me off were now barely noticeable. It was as if my body and mind were finally in harmony. Even friends and family started commenting, "You look healthier. You're glowing. You seem happy." These external affirmations were great, but the biggest reward was internal. I could feel my body responding in real time to what I ate and the habits I practiced. Tracking my blood sugar became a positive experience, rather than a source of anxiety. I could see cause and effect. Balanced meals, stable numbers, movement after eating, smoother energy, consistent sleep, clearer focus, and better mood. By the end of the 30 days, the numbers spoke for themselves. My blood sugar had stabilized into a healthy range. More importantly, my energy, focus, and mood had transformed in ways I hadn't believed were possible without medication. But beyond the physical numbers, there was a deeper lesson. Healing and balance don't come from deprivation or fear. They come from awareness, experimentation, and listening to your own body. This journey wasn't about perfection. I didn't follow an extreme regimen or eliminate foods I loved. It was about small intentional changes repeated consistently day after day. And the results, both measurable and intangible, were life-changing. Lessons learned and how you can start your own transformation. After completing the 30-day experiment, I realized the journey wasn't just about lowering my blood sugar. It was about learning how my body communicates with me, how to listen, how to respond, and how to create habits that actually stick. Here are the key lessons I learned. Small, consistent changes. Beat extremes. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start with one meal, one snack, or one habit at a time. Consistency is far more powerful than perfection. Food is information, not just fuel. Every bite you eat sends a signal to your body. Understanding how your body reacts, through energy levels, mood, and even simple tracking, is more important than following generic rules. Timing matters. When you eat can be just as important as what you eat. Balanced meals spaced throughout the day, along with movement after eating, can drastically stabilize blood sugar. Listen to your body. Energy crashes, cravings, brain fog, these are your body's messages. Pay attention and adjust habits accordingly. Your body knows more than you think. Lifestyle beats, quick fixes, supplements, detoxes, and extreme diets may work temporarily, but sustainable results come from long-term habits, balanced nutrition, regular movement, quality sleep, and stress management. By following these principles, I was able to completely transform not just my blood sugar, but my life. Energy, focus, mood, and even my confidence improved dramatically. And here's the best part, anyone can do this. You don't need expensive programs or complicated tools. You just need awareness, commitment, and a willingness to experiment and learn. So here's my advice. If you want to start your own transformation, keep a simple log of what you eat and how you feel. Focus on balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Move your body after meals, even just a short walk. Prioritize sleep and stress management. Adjust and experiment. Your body will teach you what works. If you follow these steps, even small improvements over time will compound into incredible results, just like they did for me. Remember, transformation isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, learning, and taking small steps every day. And today, you can take your first step. Mastering long-term balance. Beyond 30 days, completing the 30-day experiment was life-changing. But it also raised a new question. How do you keep the results for life? That's when I realized the real challenge isn't just achieving balance, it's maintaining it. Many people see short-term success only to slip back into old habits. But there's a way to make it last. The first thing I learned is that knowledge alone isn't enough. You can read every article, track every number, and know every tip. But if you don't build habits into your daily routine, the changes won't stick. I began thinking in terms of long-term patterns, not quick wins. Morning routines, starting the day with hydration, a protein-rich breakfast, and a brief mindfulness or movement session sets the tone for balanced blood sugar all day. Meal planning, prepping meals in advance, reduces reliance on convenience foods that spike glucose. Knowing what's in your meals gives you freedom from stress and temptation. Movement as medicine. Short walks, stretching, or light exercise after meals became non-negotiable. They are simple yet powerful tools for maintaining balance. Consistent sleep. My energy and glucose control skyrocketed when I prioritized quality sleep over late-night work or screen time. I also learned the power of awareness and self-reflection. Keeping a log or journal doesn't have to be complicated. Just noting how I felt after each meal, how my mood shifted and when energy dips occurred, gave me the insight to make smarter choices, almost like having a map of my body's signals. Another key realization: flexibility matters. Life isn't perfect. There will be social events, travel, and unexpected changes. What matters is that the habits I built were adaptable. I could enjoy occasional treats without derailing progress because the foundation of balanced nutrition and awareness was strong. Over the following months, I experimented further, trying new foods and recipes that stabilized blood sugar, adjusting meal timings based on activity levels, adding stress reduction techniques like meditation and deep breathing, and the results were incredible. My energy remained consistent, focus sharpened, mood stayed balanced, and I no longer experienced the extreme sugar cravings that had dominated my life for years. The biggest takeaway? Balance is not a destination, it's a continuous journey. The 30-day experiment was just the starting point, a proof that change is possible. Maintaining that change requires commitment, reflection, and adaptability. I hope this chapter inspires you to see that transformation doesn't end when a challenge finishes. It's about learning your body, building lasting habits, and embracing the process for the long term. So here's the bottom line. Balancing your blood sugar naturally isn't just a 30-day experiment. It's a journey that continues beyond those first few weeks. The real magic happens when you take the lessons learned and apply them consistently, adapting them to your lifestyle. Small, intentional actions, like mindful meals, movement, and awareness, compound over time into life-changing results. If I can do it in 30 days, so can you. And the best part? These changes don't just improve your blood sugar. They transform your energy, focus, mood, confidence, and overall quality of life. Here's how to get started today. Keep a log of your meals, energy, and mood. Focus on balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Move after eating, even just a short walk. Prioritize sleep and manage stress. Adjust, experiment, and listen to your body. It will guide you. If you found this video helpful, you can support the channel and join our community. Like this video if you want more tips on natural health transformations. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Comment below. Share your experiences with blood sugar, energy, or healthy habits. Let's learn together. Remember, transformation isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, action, and consistency. Start today, and your future self will thank you.